Good evening, YouTube.
Hi.
Day 10, it's Ian and Jane again, doing the Edinburgh Fringe, all that sort of rubbish. Right, this is show 2 of day 10, the Blondie story. Time now is 9 o'clock. This show was 5 to 8 at the Space Surgeons Hall Grand Theatre. Yes, the Blondie story. Now, before we say anything about this actual show, I will say that I am a massive Blondie fan. I have all of their albums. I have seen them twice. I saw their first major tour, and I bought the first album when it first came out. So, bit of a fan. Wouldn't normally go and see this sort of covers type show. But I thought, hey, it's Blondie, you know.
And I'm slightly at the other end of the spectrum. I am not a massive Blondie fan. I like a lot of their records, but that's probably as far as it goes.
Yeah. So I'll read you the description from the Fringe. So the multi-award-winning ensemble returned to Fringe, or it should be the Fringe, with a brand new show taking you on a journey through the career of Debbie Harry en route. Reine Beau and the Night Owls give phenomenal interpretation of hits including Heart of Glass, Atomic, One Way or Another. Experience the group that cut through genres, a must-see for all music lovers. Join the esteemed Night Owl band as they debut what promises to be a fan favourite. And then presented by Night Owl Shows. I'm assuming that, and reading that, I'm assuming that the band is the same band for all of the shows, which might have something to do with what I would say about the band.
I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
No.
And then, believe it or not, 5 stars from the Sunday Times critical list, 5 stars from 3 weeks. What?
Well, is that relevant?
Well, it may be. And a consecutive sold-out run since Fringe 2017. Well, before I say it, I'm going to ask you what you think of it.
Well, I didn't feel I saw the Blondie story. I was expecting... I mean, maybe my
No, you're right.
expectation was different. I thought they were going to be... that whoever was the front singer was going to come out and look a bit like Debbie Harry.
I would have liked that, because if you... Sorry, go on.
She didn't at all.
No.
So I was slightly disappointed, but that was probably more of my expectation.
No, that was my expectation too, as well. And I also, I've taken a couple of photographs, so I'll include a photograph so you can see how the band looked. I half expected the band to look like Blondie, because the Blondie of most of those songs, the band wore suits, you know.
Okay.
I mean, she didn't have blonde hair. She got auburn hair. So I was slightly disappointed with that. If I talk about the band musically first, and then we can talk about the songs. What do you want to?
Okay. Well, can I just
say go for it.
So there was that. They also had little bits of information projected behind. But half of those we couldn't read.
No, because the bass player was in the way, really.
Because we couldn't see a lot of that.
We were sat at the side, so if you were sat at the front, you probably could see most of it. It's hard to tell, really. But we couldn't see it.
People on the sides wouldn't have been able to see everything.
No.
So, and we've come up against that before, because if you're going to do that, you really need to make sure that the screen is position so that people, if that's how you're displaying some of the information of the Blondie story, which is how the show was described, then, you know, anyway, so you couldn't read all of that. In my very, very limited Blondie knowledge, some of the songs seemed to have, I mean, they sounded pretty identical, but some of the phrasing seemed to be the singer's phrasing, and Ian can.
No, you're right.
That.
Yeah.
So I thought this was supposed to be sort of a direct copy of Blondie. I mean, I haven't got a problem with people doing that. But I just thought the whole concept was supposed to be the story of Blondie. And just one of the final point, the lead singer whose name escapes me.
It's Reine Beau.
Reine Beau.
Or Beau.
Yes, it's Reine Beau. That's pronounced Beau,
Beau,
so
right,
it's
okay.
a play on rainbow. Rain.
Oh, right, okay.
She kept forgetting sort of where she was in the story. And needed a couple of prompts. Just the amount of information was limited. I don't feel I really know anything else about Blondie.
Well, you don't. I mean, I was half expecting a chronological. The better way to do the show would have been to do it chronologically from, maybe do the first single through to the last album was how I was expecting it. That's not what happened. The songs were done in a very, they were all over the place in terms of timeline. Because Atomic is one of the later songs, I think. Completely, I mean, she did talk about Parallel Lines, but that was actually the second album. She didn't tell us that, did she? I had to check, because I'm thinking, well, I know I bought an album before that. I was
going to say, I don't know.
Yeah. So completely, there was no linearity to the narrative of what we're being told. And I mean, there were bits of information that I didn't know, but there was, it's the Blondie story. There are massive amounts that were missing that were pretty crucial to the Blondie story.
Okay. Well, obviously I didn't know that.
And I do know quite a bit about it. I thought vocally, she was good, but she wasn't pretending to be Debbie Harry. She was just being herself. And you're right about the phrasing. Her phrasing was slightly different of some of the melodies, some of the lyrics to the original songs.
Okay.
I thought the core of the band, the guitar, the bass player and drummer were really, really good. Although apart from the guitarist, I couldn't see the drummer because he was stood behind the bass player. The bass player looked a bit bored. He just stood there. Okay, sometimes you get that with bass players. They do just stand there. But he's in a show. I'd like to see some energy from within the band. Keyboard player, and I was sat behind the keyboard player, and I have played and learnt some of these songs, and it looked to me like he was busking. He was reading dots, which is fine, but I got the impression that certain times he was looking over to the guitarist because he didn't quite know where he was.
Okay.
And certainly Heart of Glass, which I have learnt note for note, was wrong.
Oh.
Sad to say. Anyway, that's a small point. Or is it? I have to say, I thought, the audience loved it.
They did love it.
Yeah.
Though not everybody. I mean, some people weren't clapping along.
No.
There was sort of audience participation.
Yeah.
Not everybody was clapping along.
Yeah. And her delivery of trying to get the crowd going didn't come across as very natural for me. I don't know about you. And apart from the sort of trying to put the story bit in and her missing bits of it and not having all of that information. This is week 3. Now, had it been show 1 or 2, you can expect somebody to not have everything down pat.
Yeah, because they've been doing it since the 4th.
And we're now on what day is today?
Today's the
19th.
20th.
So they've played it enough, really. So I was slightly disappointed. I didn't get what I expected of the Blondie story.
Well, I have to say I didn't.
No.
But yeah.
And I got the impression that the other person we were sat with, they didn't either.
No.
By what they said after the show. So I'm going to give it 3 stars.
Well, I would give
and I'm feeling that's generous, if I'm honest.
Well, I would give it 3.
Yeah, I thought the band played well. I suspect, reading that little bit of blurb, that this band might be a house band that are doing lots of other shows as well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe somebody can inform me as to whether that is the case. But by what we've just read in the description. So slightly disappointed there. Not quite what I expected. Right, so this show is on, I just checked the times. It's on right the way through the rest of the Fringe until the 26th of August. So another 6 days to see it. Yeah, 6 days. And the price of the ticket is £15.50 full price and £14.50 concession.
And it's on at Space Surgeons Hall in the Great Hall.
Grand Theatre.
Sorry, Grand Theatre.
Grand
It's
Theatre.
on at 5 to 8.
Every evening. So if it sounds like your sort of thing, but like I said, we say, don't expect it to be a chronological Blondie story.
No, but lots of good Blondie tracks.
Yeah, the songs are good. Yeah, songs are always good. Okay. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.